I never imagined the day would come when my own daughter, the child I carried for 9 long months, nursed through sickness, heartbreak, and fear, would look me dead in the eye and scream, "Get out or I'll call the cops."
It wasn't the words that shattered me. It was the coldness in her eyes.
The same eyes that used to sparkle when she'd run into my arms after school. I stood there in the doorway of the house I built, our house, still holding the grocery bags I'd brought for dinner. My hands trembled, the paper bag crinkled, and an apple rolled across the hardwood floor, stopping right at her feet. She didn't even flinch. Behind her stood her fiancé, arms folded, smug smile plastered across his face. I should have known something was wrong the day he started calling me instead of Mom. I took a deep breath, willing my voice not to crack. "Emily, sweetheart, what's going on?"
Her answer was a dagger. "What's going on is you're leaving. This is my house now. You've had your time." Her fiancé's smirk widened. I didn't argue. I didn't cry, not in front of them.
I simply nodded, grabbed my purse, and walked out the door with the last shred of dignity I had left.
But what they didn't know
was that while they were busy trying to erase me from their lives, I was about to rewrite mine completely. And by sunset that same day, I had 3 offers on something far more valuable than they could ever imagine. The wind outside bit through my thin cardigan as I stood on the front porch, the key to my old life still dangling uselessly in my hand. I stared at the house, its white shutters, the little garden I'd planted with my bare hands, the porch swing where I used to rock Emily to sleep. Every piece of it held my story. And yet, in one cruel moment, I'd been erased from it.
It wasn't always like this.
Emily used to be my reason for waking up every morning.
I raised her alone after her father walked out when she was 9.
We built everything together, emotionally, financially, spiritually.
She was my heartbeat.
But things began to shift when she met Nathan. Nathan came into her life like a storm, charming, well-dressed, with that too-good-to-be-true smile.
I saw through him immediately. He talked big, acted generous, but something about his eyes never matched his words.
Still, Emily was in love. And love can be blinding, especially for a young woman who never saw her mother treated right. At first, he was polite, helpful, always yes, ma'am, thank you.
But soon he began finding reasons to criticize me.
"You're too protective, Mrs. Daniels," he'd say. "Emily needs independence." Independence, I later realized, was his code word for isolation. He moved in under the excuse of saving for the wedding. Within months, he'd convinced Emily to refinance my home, the one I'd fully paid off, because it's only fair since we'll inherit it one day anyway. And just like that, my name disappeared from the deed. I didn't see it coming, not until I received the notice of transfer of ownership. I was devastated, but I told myself maybe it was just a misunderstanding.
Maybe my daughter didn't realize what she was signing.
Until today. As I walked down the driveway that afternoon, my heart felt heavy, but not broken. No, something inside me was awakening.
Years of sacrifice. Decades of silence. All the moments I'd swallowed my pain just to keep peace. Not this time.
I drove straight to the Realtor's office, the same woman who helped me buy that home 25 years ago. When she saw me walk in, she blinked in surprise. "Margaret? My goodness, you look like you've seen a ghost." "I have," I said softly. "And her name is my daughter."
She frowned.
"What happened?" "I need to list something," I said. "Your house."
I smiled. "No. My land."
Because what no one, not even my daughter, knew was that years before her father left, I'd bought a piece of land in the outskirts of town. 10 acres, tucked behind a valley, deeded solely in my name. Paid in full.
It was my backup plan.
My mother used to say, "Never give anyone your whole life, Maggie. Always keep something that's yours."
I listened. By 3 p.m., my realtor had the listing up. By 6 p.m., I had 3 offers, all above asking price. When the sun began to set that evening, I sat in my car parked at the edge of that land, my land, watching the golden light stretch across the hills. I felt peace for the first time in years. My phone buzzed. It was Emily.
I almost didn't answer. "Mom," she whispered, her voice shaky. "Yes."
There are police cars outside.
They said the house is being seized? What's happening?
I took a slow breath.
"Oh, that," I said calmly. "You might want to ask Nathan. Turns out, the refinancing he did wasn't for a remodel.
It was a loan against the house.
And now the bank's collecting."
Silence.
"Mom, please."
"Emily," I said softly. "You told me to get out. So I did.
I hope you find somewhere warm to stay tonight."
I hung up.
And as the first star appeared in the sky, I smiled through my tears.
Because losing that house wasn't the end of my story. It was the beginning.
The morning after everything fell apart, I woke up in the tiny guest room of my friend Clara's farmhouse. The air smelled of lavender and dew, and for a moment I didn't remember the pain of yesterday. But when I reached for my phone and saw the dozens of missed calls from Emily, it all came crashing back.
My daughter. My only child.
The same girl who once made me handmade birthday cards and promised I'd never be alone.
Now, she was crying for help. But this time, I wasn't rushing to save her. By mid-morning, the realtor called.
"Margaret, you won't believe this," she said, her voice trembling with excitement.
"We have a bidding war on your land. Developers want to build a wellness retreat there.
They've offered almost double your asking price."
I closed my eyes. Double. For a moment, I couldn't speak.
25 years of being overlooked, undervalued, and underestimated. And suddenly, everything I quietly built was worth something. By noon, the deal was sealed. I walked into the bank with my head high, deposited the biggest check I'd ever seen, and opened a new account, in my name only. When I walked out, I didn't feel like the broken mother who'd been thrown out of her own house.
I felt like a woman reborn.
That evening, as the sun dipped behind the hills, I finally answered one of Emily's calls.
Her voice was trembling.
"Mom, everything's gone." "What do you mean?"
I asked, though I already knew. "The house, it's foreclosed. Nathan disappeared.
He entered our joint account and left a note saying he had business opportunities in another state."
Her voice cracked.
"Mom, I don't know where to go." For the briefest second, my heart broke all over again. But then I remembered the humiliation, the way she looked at me like I was a burden, a relic of her past. "Emily," I said softly, "sometimes life takes everything from us just to show us what really matters." "Please, Mom."
"I'm sorry.
I didn't know."
"I know," I whispered.
"But this time, you'll have to figure things out without Nathan, and without leaning on me for the wrong reasons." I hung up gently, tears streaming down my face. Forgiveness was in my heart, but boundaries were finally in my bones.
The following weeks were a whirlwind.
I used part of the land sale money to buy a cozy cottage near the coast, nothing extravagant, but beautiful. A wraparound porch, rose bushes, and the kind of peace I hadn't felt in decades.
But I didn't stop there.
I'd always been good with my hands, painting, restoring furniture, and turning old things into new treasures. So, I opened a small vintage decor store downtown. I named it Second Chances.
Fitting, wasn't it? Within 3 months, the store became the talk of the town. Tourists loved it. Locals adored it.
I even got featured in the local paper, from heartbreak to hope, how one woman built beauty out of betrayal.
It was surreal. I was thriving. And then one evening, I saw her, Emily,
Standing outside the store, eyes red, clothes wrinkled, and pride nowhere to be found. I stepped outside, heart pounding.
"Hi, Mom," she whispered.
You look happy. I am, I said honestly.
She swallowed hard. "I don't deserve your help. But…"
I didn't know who else to turn to. I studied her for a long moment. The proud girl who once told me to get out now looked like the frightened child I used to tuck in at night.
"Come in," I finally said.
But this time, you're not staying for free.
Her eyes widened.
You'll work here, I continued. Learn, earn, rebuild. Not because I owe you, but because I love you. Tears filled her eyes. Thank you, Mom. I don't deserve you.
I smiled sadly. You didn't.
But maybe, one day, you will.
Months passed.
Slowly, we rebuilt something I thought was gone forever: trust. Emily threw herself into the business, learning to restore furniture, run the books, and even charm the customers. She apologized 1,000 times, but the real healing came not from her words, but her actions. Then one afternoon, a customer came in asking for the owner, a tall woman in a navy suit, with an envelope in her hand. I represent the developer who bought your land, she said. Would like to offer you a partnership in the resort's design. Your shop's theme, second chances, inspired the project. I blinked. You want me to help design it?
She smiled. Yes. And the partnership includes a profit share.
It's substantial.
Emily covered her mouth in shock.
I turned to her and whispered, See, sweetheart? When people push you out of their house, sometimes it's only because life wants to give you a mansion. It was a quiet Saturday morning when I heard the knock. The resort had officially opened 3 months earlier, Second Chances had expanded into 2 more locations, and Emily was managing one of them with more grace and humility than I'd ever seen in her. Life was peaceful again. Too peaceful, maybe. The knock came again, firmer this time. When I opened the door, my breath caught. It was Nathan. He looked nothing like the slick, confident man who once stood in my old doorway, daring me to leave my own home. His hair was messy, his suit frayed, his once cocky grin replaced by exhaustion. He smelled faintly of cheap cologne and desperation.